to kick it off with some Cavs talk. A lot going on there since the regular season ended. Of course, fired head coach JB Bickerstaff. Currently interviewing candidates to replace him. We'll go over a couple of the names and kind of get your guys' opinions and who you like, dislike, and maybe somebody on the list that not on the list that you like. So first of all, you got Kenny Atkinson. He's the former Brooklyn Nets coach. Coached there when Kevin Durant was there. Currently the top assistant with the Golden State Warriors. He seems to be the leading candidate, according to a lot of media members. Another guy who's been mentioned as a lead candidate, James Borrego. He had some time as the Charlotte Hornets coach. Kind of had a raw deal there, bad roster. We all know as great as Michael Jordan was as a player, he was an awful owner. And it definitely showed in his time
for sure.
Ownership. One interesting name to keep an eye on, and if this guy doesn't get the head coach, could be in for the lead assistant, and that's Johnny Bryant, who's the current New York Knicks top assistant. He worked closely with Donovan Mitchell, kind of his personal coach in Utah for 6 years. So I'm sure there's a preference there from Donovan's standpoint. So even if he doesn't get the head coaching job, I could see him possibly ending up on the staff. Chris Quinn, the top assistant for the Miami Heat, actually played in 7 games for the Cavs from 2012 to 2013 season. He's very highly regarded as an up-and-coming coach. David Adelman, top assistant coach of the Denver Nuggets, of course, won NBA championship last year. He's the son of Rick Adelman, who was a pretty good coach back in the 90s and early 2000s. Micah Nori from the Timberwolves, the top assistant there. Personality-wise, he kind of at the top of the list. And then, there's a few more. They're supposed to interview approximately 10 candidates all in all when it's all said and done. And we'll see where it goes. James, we'll start it off with you. What's your opinion on the coaching search, and who do you like?
You were talking about Kenny Atkinson, and with him being with the Warriors, something I was thinking about at the end of the year is that we have an all-star backcourt, and you're trying to get them to play together, and you could call them the Stephen Clay light version of a backcourt where they're all stars, but they're not to their level. But the one thing I was thinking about is that what is Kenny going to bring different than Luke Walton already did, because Luke Walton was with the Golden State Warriors during some of their championship teams. He was taking over for Steve Kerr. What was going on in Golden State already presented to this team based on how the Warriors were conducting business or their offense or whatever. So that's something I am curious on. But like I said, you could look at a bench and look down there and you can see that, yes, everybody's about team and you want to have a team philosophy. But if you break them all down individually like we are now with these guys, each guy's going to have a little bit of a different touch, different feel, different mindset to how they, if they're the top guy, would want to be running the squad. So, you mentioned Adelman. I remember his dad with the Portland Trailblazers. Really good coach, had a lot of talent there. My question is that we lose JB, and I shouldn't say we lose JB. We fired JB, but do you want another coach that is the son of a coach? Because I thought JB, in fairness to him, he did offer growth since he's been with us. But, who's going to be able to come in and really make a difference with the voice, but also, are we going to keep this roster together? I know that's a different topic. So, I don't know if the coach is going to, I guess like you're saying, if it's going to be Bryant, I think that's going to tell you what Mitchell's going to do. So, I don't know. I don't have a really great gut feeling on any of these guys right now.
How about you, Clarence? Anybody you liking on this list, or do you have somebody else in mind that maybe hasn't been mentioned?
There's one guy I actually like, Atkinson. He coached that pretty bad Nets team and got them to play decently well, to the point that I'm pretty sure that didn't we have their pick and we expected that to be a higher pick that ended up being like 8th or something like that, because they definitely outplayed basically their roster, and instead of ending up with So in the top 3 of the draft, we ended up with, I think, 8, and we ended up picking Sexton. So I would be okay with Atkinson just because it seems like he could get the most out of the roster, like he did with that net squad. I'm kind of interested in Borrego a little bit, but I feel like anybody who's coached Charlotte, like you don't know how good they are because they haven't had talent since Grandmama and Alonzo Mourning, pretty much. So it's anybody coming from Charlotte, I think it's a crapshoot because they've just been bereft of talent for so long. Somebody who I have not really seen mentioned since the beginning that I would be interested in would be Sam Cassell. I don't know. I just something about old Sammy. I know he's with Boston right now.
I like that.
I wouldn't mind. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him come in. Former player, former point guard. Obviously, he can relate to the players, and obviously being with Boston, we're going to take a little bit from them as well. So those are kind of the 3 names that I guess I would look at. Again, Borrego, it's hard, but I wouldn't be interested in Atkinson and Sammy Cassell.
Yeah, I heard Cassell mentioned initially for JB was heard his name. I'm sure if he that are going to get
I'm sorry, was that something directed towards me, Kevin? You were a little bit off there.
Yeah, you chopped up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Kevin, your audio went off a little bit.
Last time I heard Grandma Ma, I was watching a Family Matters rerun on TBS about 3 weeks ago. So I'm a little bit off now. What the hell? No, I think it all comes down to Donovan Mitchell. And if you're going to keep Donovan Mitchell, it's got to be Johnny Bryant. If he's got such a deep connection with Donovan Mitchell, that gives you a leg up on extending him and making sure that you keep the biggest part of this team intact. Because without Donovan Mitchell, I fear what this team is going to look like in 24-25.